Hi freaks, it's me, Infernal Viewer. So, this channel hasn't had much content and I'm finally getting on the train of actually giving you some. So this video is going to be all about sort of my favourite games, but also kind of not. It's any game that has any sort of sentimental value to me, basically. Games that mean something to me. Sounds a bit wanky, but you know. So, yeah, this is that video. Okay, first of all, we're going to cover games that I don't own, like, physically, or for whatever reason I can't show them on camera. So first of all, I do have a list. There's only two, but I want to make sure I remember. First of all is the Professor Layton series. I know like people tend to go down two alleys of whether it's the Professor Layton series or the Ace Attorney, like Phoenix Wright stuff. For me, on the Nintendo DS and 3DS and that, because I did have those systems for a while. The Professor Layton series was always the series that I absolutely loved. If you don't know what it is, they're basically games following Professor Layton and his like child sidekick kind of thing. And they're kind of like detectives, sort of. They like figure out mysteries, but they're basically puzzle games. And they're great. They're a lot of fun. My favourite one was the time one. I've forgotten what it's called, but it was green and it was like a time one. Most of the series was released on the 2DS. I played them out of order, so I didn't play them in the order they were meant to be. Not that you had to follow them that way, you know, they were accessible. But yeah, I love those games. I played them a lot. We'd just go on to the next one after I'd finished one or whatever, and I just really remember them really well. They were a lot of fun, and the stories were really good as well, actually. They were really well crafted, fun, adventure, mystery stories. You had a lot of different types. Obviously, the first one was like a small town mystery, where you were sort of figuring out. There was like this house, wasn't there? Like it was all weird, like lots of different rooms, and then outside of it you had like a place that was I'm not explaining it very well, but I remember that one. But that was one of the later ones I played. But yeah, they're great. Also, I have to mention a series that means quite a lot to me, just in general, because I love these games, the Sly Cooper games. If you don't know these ones, these are 3D platformers following the adventures of Sly Cooper and his gang, who are basically thieves, and they're a ton of fun. I actually jumped on the fourth one, which I had on the Vita, which I know is not the particularly well liked one because it was by a different dev team after they'd like finished the series, with the third one, like the original team, and it's kind of gone down in history as like, you know, in fans' eyes as like the weakest, the not very good. But it got me into the series and I absolutely adored it. And there's still a special place in my heart for that one. I played it non-stop. I replayed it a lot. And then obviously I went back and played the other three. I got those on the Vita, in the collection. And the second one ended up being my favourite, which is, you know, kind of a lot of people's opinion of the series is the second one. Either the second or the third, to be fair. But I love those games. I actually named one of my earlier channels, because I've had quite a few channels. Yeah, I've made quite a few channels. And one of them, I named it after the Sly Cooper. series. So yes, I love them. I love all the characters. Obviously Bentley, Murray, and Sly. Oh, and Carmelita Fox, the detective following them, trying to catch them. It's a great series. You all know it probably. I mean, it's not an underrated one. It's fantastic. Okay, next to physical media. First of all, I have some PS2 games. I've had a lot of systems in my time. So the PS2, I actually collected PS2 games for a while. I don't have very many on here. I only have 2 to show you for this video. Mainly because I never really finished a lot of them. Because I am a gamer. I've had played games my whole life. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the best person in the world, and you will notice a lack of online games as well, because I don't like them very much. But the first one I have to show you is Shadow of the Colossus. In fact, let me just get it. I have both versions. I'm that much of a... Yeah, this has a sticker. I got this secondhand off the internet, I think. I do also have the PS4 remake, which is also fantastic. I'd probably say, nowadays, watch this one. Play. It's not a film or a series. It's a game. I'd say nowadays, like, if you want to experience the game, go for the PS4 remake. So obviously, I know a lot of people love these games, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. And obviously, it's best if you haven't experienced these, if you haven't experienced the game, to go in blind. I did myself. Funny enough, I did come from... I wanted to play these games based on Jacksepticeye's love of them. And I ended up loving them just as much. But I mean, the basic principle of the game is that you're taking down these giants. And I don't want to say any more than that. But it's fantastic. The atmosphere, the music, the story, and the gameplay is fantastic as well. Facing off these massive monsters is awesome. So, yeah, I don't have much more to say than that. They're great. They've gone down as, it's gone down as my favourite game, or one of my favourite games. So, and then next is kind of a more personal pick and kind of out of left field, but this is one that I love. I will always love. I have the PS2 version, and it's King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. What a title! So obviously this is kind of popular. Like, a lot of people know that this is actually a good game. It's been released on every system known to man, to be honest. And yeah, it basically, all it is the officially licensed game for the remake that Pete Jackson did of King Kong. Obviously, you couldn't tell that. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. My history of this one is kind of weird, because my biggest memory of this was actually not of the game itself. Well, it was of the game, but not of playing the whole game, but of the demo disc for the PS2. It had some sections from the game. So one of them was one of the King Kong levels. So you play as King Kong, and you also play as a human. You mostly play as one of the humans. I can't remember his name. Oh, Jack. So actually, I think it shows on the back of here. what I mean. So these two levels, sort of thing. So you faced against, is it V-Rex, I want to say? Is that what they're called? Because they're not actually T-Rexes, are they? And then as a human, or both of them actually. So yeah, but I replayed the King Kong level so many times as a kid, and absolutely loved it. And it was actually more recently that I finally like picked up the full game and played it through, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. There's like survival and like again, sort of similar to this, you do get sort of the grandiose scale. It's different. You're not climbing up, monsters and stuff. But like when you're facing down the V-Rex and everything, and all you've got is your little puny gun and some sticks to throw at the thing. It's great. And it's really well done. Like it's really cool. Obviously there's like fire, the way that fire moves through an environment. You can distract the dinosaurs with different larvae and stuff, like stick them with your stick and then throw them somewhere and can distract the dinosaurs and all of that sort of stuff. And obviously you can play as Kong. I loved it a lot more when I was a kid. The Kong stuff, it's clunky, let's not lie, but it's still fun. And getting to like rip the jaws off of different dinosaurs is always going to be fun. I don't know what people like. I suppose the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions are probably the better versions to have, but I have the PS2 version because this is the version that I personally sort of have more of a connection to, and obviously I was collecting PS2 at the time, so it made sense to collect this one. But it's great, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a game that has a really special place. I don't know, it's just, I love this one. It's great. Okay, and then to finish off like the PS4 things, so these ones, I actually have a bunch to show you just straight away. It's like a collection I'm going to put up because obviously I can't not talk about these ones. They mean a lot. I'm talking about the sort of, I guess, the second wave, I like to think of it, of like Naughty Dog. So we've got like the Uncharted series. So here's the collection, and Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. And then obviously we've got the two Last of Us games. So these ones now, personally, my sort of love really stems from Uncharted. I did have the PS3 games, and then obviously when this was released, obviously I ended up getting the collection. So the thing with these is that I'd say, especially the first game, but also I mean all of them, because they are all fantastic, including the Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. But the first game, I remember picking that up and playing it. I played it on the PS3, and I remember, because I was quite young, it being like this sort of revelation of like, I'd never really played the single player story sort of thing properly through, and sort of telling this sort of cinematic story that had touches of like Indiana Jones and stuff like that, was just awesome. And so it was one of those games, it's like, whoa, this is this sort of thing I remember watching on YouTube, like the story cutscenes and stuff like that. So it really stuck in my mind, and it was a series that I just absolutely adored. Now, 2 was one of those ones where I actually played 3. I actually played Uncharted 3 before I played Uncharted 2, because I didn't because I owned the first one, and then someone I knew had the second one, and I was like, oh, you can have the first and third to play them, sort of thing. So I ended up playing 1, 3, and then 2. So 2 ended up being my least favourite when I was younger, which is obviously the not the opinion. But honestly, replaying them, I feel like 1 always just sticks out for me as like just kind of special. I love playing it. It's so much fun. It's not perfect. It has a lot of sort of the climbing doesn't always work, and you know, obviously it's dated in some aspects, and stuff that was improved in the second and third one, you know. But I don't know, I just love that game. It's so much fun. I've replayed it the most out of all of them, I think. 3 also sticks out to me because I love playing that when I first played it, and obviously 2 is great. And then, I mean, obviously I got this one when it came out, and I was so excited, and it did not disappoint. It was fantastic. I love this game. It's just a great end for the series, and it probably is my favourite now. It's really well done. So, yeah, it was really nice thing. And this was great as well. This was great. This was a lot of fun. I didn't get this like when it came out. It took me a while to get around to playing this one. But I did eventually, so. I say it took me a while, like, it was like a few months, not, you know, years or anything, but it did take me a little while. I think because, you know, the series had finished, and I was sort of like, oh, there's another one, like, I've kind of made my part with it, and, like, you know, it's ended, and then, obviously it follows different characters, and it was great to follow Nadine and, Chloe. But yeah, and then these are interesting because I was late to the game. This was the way I played The Last of Us originally. I don't think it had been out massively long, this remastered edition, but it took me a while, and I did love it. It doesn't stick quite in my mind, and it doesn't mean as much to me as like as the Uncharted games, but I do love that game, and it is fantastic and really well done. So talking about this one, so there's always a bit of a dodgy, yeah, it feels like a dodgy thing bringing up The Last of Us Part 2 because of everything surrounding it. I mean, even talking about Naughty Dog now is kind of a weird thing because of, you know, the drama. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to, because that's not what this video is about. But I did enjoy this game. Did I think it was as good as the first one? A lot of elements were definitely better, and I did really enjoy the story. I don't know if I'd say I thought this one was better. There were things that annoyed me, and not actually to do with the story, but just other things. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a good ending. I thought it was a great ending, actually. And that's just a personal opinion. You know, you don't have to love the game. I loved Dina, I want to say, and Ellie. It's been a little while now because obviously this was released last year. So my God, it's weird to think that, like, you know, this game's only going to be a year old. But yeah, no, I marathon through this marathons. You know, I played this one non-stop when it came out to get to the ending and experience the story, and you know, I had a great time. It's a fantastic game. So yeah, And then finally, I have two others I want to talk about quickly. One that doesn't quite mean a ton to me or anything, but I was in love with it when it came out, and I still like looking at it fondly. And obviously, it's not really obvious. Is Watch Dogs 2. I love this. I played it non-stop when I got it, and it's a ton of fun. I think most people agree this was the better out of the two games. I actually played the first one after this. I sort of went back and went, okay, I'll give it a go. And I enjoyed the first one. I don't think it deserved as much hate. Or, okay, no, I do because of what happened surrounding its release. However, I think in terms of it being an overall game, it's fine. It's a fun enough adventure. I had a good time with it, but obviously it pales in comparison to this one. And I love the characters. I love the humour. The story was a ton of fun. So, yeah. Also, the soundtrack is great as well. Really good soundtrack for that one. And then, finally, this one does mean quite a bit to me. I say mean quite a bit, but like, Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I have the Steelbook. It's cool. It's really pretty actually. Just looking at it, I was like, this is cool. But yeah, no. So obviously, when this came out, I mean, I remember the trailer for this come out. I make it sound like it was a long time. It's not that long ago. I just mean like I remember when the trailer was coming out, and I remember there was a lot of like skepticism with it being first person, and I think it. Because we never saw any sort of weapons, there was a lot of debate whether it was going to be sort of an Outlast kind of thing, which I also really enjoy. But it turned out to be just fantastic. I really need to actually get to the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. I have not actually played those yet. I know, blasphemy. Everyone loves those. I think I was like, oh, I want to get to them, but this was so much fun. I replayed it a few times. I replayed it all in VR actually, because I do have a VR headset, and it was great. Because I originally played it just as sort of normal. And it's a fantastic game. I love it. It's scary. It's fun. It's really well done. I know people sort of like, it kind of loses steam in the last half, and I'll sort of give you that. Like, once you get to the boat stuff, it does sort of lose a little bit of the magic that was in, that was there before. But I love it overall still. I think it's just a really great game. It's a ton of fun, and also I get to torture my nan because I obviously put her through some of it in VR, and she hated it. Not too much. I didn't torture her absolutely, to breaking point or anything, but but yeah, no, it's a great game. I love it. I'll never not just love this. Thinking about it puts a smile on my face. With the family, Jack and Margaret, and oh god, I've forgotten the other two's name now. But yeah, it's obviously awesome. I could not talk about this one because I do genuinely think it is one of my favourite games I've played, and I desperately need to play Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, and obviously Resident Evil 8 is coming soon. I know there is a PS4 version, you know, because they said it was only going to be on PS5. Um, I'm apprehensive. I'm going to wait to see how the performance is. Because obviously we had the whole Cyberpunk thing where it's like, oh yeah, it's performing well, and then it didn't, and it was like, okay. I mean, I know it's not quite as intensive as that game, but I don't know. I'm apprehensive. I really want to play the game though. It looks great. We're not even going to go there about about you know, if you know, you know. It does look great though, and I'm glad it picks up with the character again. He's not the most memorable character, no, but I don't know. I'm excited to see where this story goes, and how it gets to the castle, and with like the whole vampire thing and werewolves, it seems, as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. It looks stunning as well. It looks really, really cool. It looks really good. So I'm excited for it. I mean, there's plenty of other games I could have put in this. And this is no way like my actual favourite games of all time, really. This is just games that I kind of wanted to just hold up and say, I love this, I guess. And obviously, you know, as I play more games, I'll have more games that I love. But I thought this would be an interesting video to do, as I've been doing Doctor Who stuff. I'm going to be doing a long form series for Doctor Who, and this channel isn't just dedicated to that. It's going to be more, but a big part of my, you know, life is Doctor Who, to be honest. I love Doctor Who, so obviously I'm going to talk a lot about that. But hey, I wanted to do something a bit different because we're going to get a lot of Doctor Who content soon, so I'm going to be doing a lot of weird. I mean, to be fair, we are, hopefully, because of filming and stuff, and it's supposedly coming out this year, but we'll see. Anyway, you might not care about that, so yeah, that's the video. Obviously, I'm going to just quickly plug the podcast. I have a podcast. I do it with my mum. It doesn't talk about games. We talk about all sorts of, you know, entertainment, so films, TV series, and books. And it's called the Blathering Podcast. It's a lot of fun. We just chat and have a good time. It's on series 3 now, so we're about to go into series 3. And then also I have a Twitter called @BlatheringPod. If you want to see updates, it is mainly to do with the podcast, but hopefully I'm gonna do a little bit for the YouTube as well. I can just see what's going on there. And obviously the usual stuff of subscribing, hitting the bell, leaving a like if you want to. And hopefully more content will be with you soon. It definitely will, actually, because I'm working on stuff. So, yeah. I'll go and move on with it all. So, see you guys in whatever video comes out next. I guess. Well, okay, I sort of know where it's going. I'm just going to finish the video.